Hello, everyone. Nadeem here with PC.Solutions.Net. I get a pretty good question a lot of times, and that is, um, how come every so often you get corruption with Microsoft Outlook? Um, a while back, I used to get the question, how come in Outlook we can get corruption, but I never had corruption in Eudora or, those old programs that people used to use. Not a lot of people use those anymore. So here's the main thing. The reason why this happens is Eudora or other third-party applications, email clients, they connected using POP3 and downloaded all the emails. And these emails were kept as individual files. So each email that it downloaded from the server, it's one file. So if you had 200 emails in your mailbox, it's 200 files. If one of those files gets corrupt, one of those messages gets corrupt, it's just that one message that gets corrupt. Well, Outlook works a little differently. It saves all these messages in one file. So if you have 200 messages, all 200 of these messages are in one file. And if something gets corrupt in that one file, now when you try to open Outlook, you get an error, or it takes too long and just hangs up. So that's why there is a higher percent of issues with Outlook, especially if you have a lot of messages in your mailbox. So if your mailbox gets very big, that's what happens. Now, the question becomes, well, why is it this way? A lot of different reasons. This is something that Microsoft decided to do and go down this path a while back. I'm sure everybody has heard of the Windows Registry. Well, corruption can happen in the Windows Registry as well. Again, because it's one big file with settings for all the applications that you've installed or previously installed and then removed. Those entries still stay there. Linux and Mac OS and these other operating systems work a little differently. They don't have a registry, that one big file keeps settings for all the applications. It has individual settings files for each application. So if something does get corrupt, it's just that one application that has an issue. And the chances of corruption are very low because each one of these settings files is very small compared to one file that has settings for all the applications that gets very big. So the same path that Microsoft chose for that as well. So the thing is, the question then is, why do people use Outlook all the time? Or how did Outlook become the de facto standard for email clients? Well, the main thing is Exchange connectivity. Integrated Exchange connectivity. Nothing else comes close to the way Outlook works with Exchange. Why? Because, well, Exchange Server is a Microsoft product and so is Outlook. So, of course, it works very well together. Gives you that seamless experience, gives you the same experience whether you're on your handheld, your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac OS, your Windows, whatever machines you have, or even the web access. And this is the reason why I pretty much almost exclusively use webmail when accessing Outlook, because the chances of error corruption are very low. All this heavy lifting of these large mailbox files is done by the server, which is maintained by Microsoft. My machine doesn't have to do that. So why use the compute power of my machine when I can use the compute power of Microsoft servers? Now, if there is corruption, there are a few things you can do. One, of course, is you can simply create a new profile. The problem with that is if you have Exchange mailbox and you have very large mailbox, it'll have to sync that entire mailbox again. It takes a long time. Second thing is you can scan your PST or OST files, and there's a tool. If you have Outlook, you already have this tool called scanpst.exe. You'll have to search for it. I'm not going to give you the path to it because if you can't find it, then you shouldn't be running it anyway. This is I would say it's a medium to advanced level skill required, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess up your PST or OST files. And then you'll have to delete it or create a new profile anyway and wait for it to sync up. What this tool does is basically it creates a whole new file. It picks up every item in the original file and puts it in the new file. and then it renames the new file to the same name as the old file. So basically what it's doing is recreating that file that has corruption. It's recreating that file, copying all the good messages out, so any corrupt messages are left in the old file, which it deletes after it's done. So that might be a quick fix. If you have a large mailbox and your Outlook is causing issues, that might be the fix you're looking for without having to create a new profile and sync everything all over again. Now, corruption can occur due to many reasons. Power fluctuations will cause corruption. Just a machine blue screening, if you had Outlook running, will cause corruption. A variety of things, a machine hanging, freezing. A lot of times I see machines that are set to go into suspend mode or hibernation when you close the lid and you leave Outlook running with a large mailbox, and then you close the lid and it goes into hibernation. That will cause corruption sometimes as well. It's not supposed to, but I've seen it, it does. So this is why we see some corruption in a higher percent in Outlook compared to some of the other traditional mail applications like Eudora, or back in the day we had Netscape Mail, and there's a bunch of different clients out there. So that's what happens. Now you know some theory behind why we see more errors here, and why Outlook all of a sudden became the de facto standard. It was because of that exchange connectivity. Nothing else comes close. There has been many tries different companies have made. They've all failed. Basically nothing compares to Outlook when it comes to email client. So that's it, folks. That was it for today. Just wanted to make this quick video because I get asked about this all the time, and recently I've been seeing a little uptick in Outlook issues, not because of anything that happened, but because people's mailboxes are getting pretty big. And people don't realize, I've seen people with like multiple gigs of, I'm talking about over 50 gigs worth of mailboxes out there, because in Office 365, Microsoft raised on some of their plans, they raised the max limit to 100 gig mailbox size. So now a lot of people's mailboxes are getting past the 50 gig limit. And a 50 gig file sitting on your machine, even if it's an SSD, that's a fairly large file. So the chances of corruption are high on that file. So that's it. Everybody have a great day.